What's up, guys? For those who are wondering, yes, my calendar is stuck on 9/11, and no, I am not gay. But anyways, if you're confused by the title, this video is about the Madden franchise, more specifically Madden 19, 20, and inevitably 21. 21, yeah, they're on 21, I think. And don't worry, this video isn't going to be me complaining about what everybody else complains about. What I'm talking about actually has to deal with how the players look in-game. Now, when it comes to sports games, along with the gameplay, I like it when the player looks like his real-life counterpart, and I'm not just talking facial resemblance. But when a player wears something in real life and I see them wearing that exact same thing in the game, I don't know about other people, but that shows me that they actually pay attention. Like, don't get me wrong, having the player look like the actual player is important, but you don't even see that detail when you're playing the game. 90% of the time, you're looking at what they're wearing, which brings me to the main point of the video. Now, I only have 2 games to show you this from, or show you examples from, because I only have Madden 15 and 19 downloaded on my PS4, but for this video, that's all I need. So if you're a Madden player like me and enjoy the new features they have to offer us each year, then you would know that we could have done without some of those new features they had to offer us each year. Like, just imagine if they actually did something to the game where they didn't have to take it out next year.
Always gonna be an uphill battle.
But today, what I'm going to be talking about are the player models, more specifically, the shoulder pads. Yes, the shoulder pads. And I know some of you were like, they have shoulder pads in the game. What are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is how EA Sports, specifically the Madden branch, is actually autistic when it comes to making shoulder pads. So there's another short video that talks about this, and they use this picture. Do you see the shoulder pad difference? Like, it's not even subtle. They basically said, oh, you wear those kind of pads? Sorry, our game that costs $60 isn't capable of replicating such realism. Like, what dumbass did you hire to make these player models? Where their qualifications be blind and not know what a football player is? Like, how can somebody see these two things and be like, yeah, that's good, we can sell that to people? That's like buying a car and then when it gets to you, the wheels are square. So now I'm going to show you firsthand just how bad Madden is when it comes to making players realistic. So I don't have anything to record my gameplay yet, so I'm recording my actual TV, but when you're given the choice between an Elgato HD60 and a custom Groot action figure doing the same pose I do at the end of every video, you take the Groot. But anyways, here we have Madden 15, and before I get into the pad situation, I just want to show you how little Madden actually cares about detail. So if you grew up playing Madden, you know that whenever you created a player, no matter what, your socks would always be half white, half team color, even though when these games were getting released, players were wearing their socks all kinds of ways. Same thing goes for the undershirts in the game. Only recently were you able to alternate these arm sleeves, even though when RG3 was drafted, he was the only player that could have that. They also did the same thing for Dwight Howard in NBA Live 2010 with that stupid Adidas armband sleeve that once you took off, you couldn't put back on, just like RG3's.
That just makes no fucking sense.
But anyways, here we have Tom Brady. If there's anyone they're going to make look right, it's going to be him. Now, I'll put a real picture of him on the screen so you can see that they got his likeness down pretty good. You can kind of tell the shoulder pads are a bit big for what Tom Brady normally wears, but nonetheless, that's Tom Brady on game day. Now I'll show you Russell Wilson. Again, they did a pretty good job, but look at his shoulder pads. In real life, they do not extend past his shoulders. In fact, they are lined up with his shoulders. But then you look back at the game and they're like 3 times that size. And they have his pad height slider turned up a little bit. Tell me, where the fuck do you see any height in these shoulder pads, EA Sports? Those literally look like his actual shoulders. Here's Cordero Patterson. I know the real pic of him is in a newer uniform, but you can see that in the game, they're always rounding off the shoulder pads as if there was air trapped in them. Like, you can see in the real picture, the jersey is a little baggy over the pads, but in the game, that shit's tighter than my asshole, you feel me? Like, I know this is something small, but dog, you can add hand warmers, eye pain, a visor, even change your knee pads to Nike ones, which all that does is make them a little bigger. So excuse me for wanting them to add some actual realism when it comes to how the players look. Like, look at Phillip Rivers and then look at him in real life. Dude has never had pads like that, maybe when he was a rookie, but Rivers is always known for having them Boeing 737 jet wing shoulder pads. And we can even go to the other extreme. Michael Bennett, a guy known for wearing small pads. I mean, his are like Pop Warner type shit, but then you look at him in the game and you're like, oh, so him and Sammy Watkins wear the same size pads, even though one is 6'1", 201, and the other is 6'4", 274? Nah, yeah, their body types are very similar. It's not like one weighs 70 fucking pounds more. And the sliders are turned all the way down for Bennett. I've never seen any player besides Wilson have these messed with, and I don't know why. I mean, just look at this. When the fuck have you seen somebody wear pads like that other than the 90s? I'll even show you him with the sleeves down. Look how massive they are, dude. He is not going to be able to move his head back at all, and he's someone who's at a position where moving your neck back is crucial. Imagine having a defensive end that can only look down. Dude's gonna get kicked out of the game for using his helmet after the first play. Like, as bad as these are though, I would still rather have the players look like this than the ones in Madden 19 and 20. So once again, here we have Tom Brady, and I want to just say that these jersey styles, the one that looks like a t-shirt, are the best ones they have yet. They still look fucking huge when compared to the real life ones, but this style looks the best in-game and the most realistic. But now here's where shit hits the fan and some gets in your mouth. I'm going to show you Derek Carr, and this time I'm going to compare him to Derek Carr from Madden 15. Now before I even played Madden 19, I was mad about the way the players looked in Madden 15, but now watch this. Here's Derek Carr in Madden 19. First off, what? Second off, the fuck? Look how good they were doing in Madden 15. They fixed his ankle tape in 19, but then when they were making the shoulder pads, they literally said, fuck you, pay me, we know you're gonna pay for this hot piece of shit. Like, I don't even have to show you other players, because all of them have pads like that. Even without the sleeves, them shits are supersized. Like, these are so awkwardly shaped, it pisses me off, because when you're playing the actual game, they look bigger, and it's like, no, I did not buy a PS4 game to have the players look like they're from the Wii. And that's not even the worst thing about it. Okay, so, Michael Bennett, you seen the pads, you seen him in Madden 15. Well, for this one, they kind of got it right. They're still way too big. I don't understand why the pad height is at 1. Even at 0, it does nothing. Also, why are they overlapping his arms like that? These are millionaire football players. I'm 1000% sure they can get pads that properly fit. But then again, that's not the worst part. Remember the pad height and width, right? Well, if you didn't, here's a pic of Michael Bennett having them all the way turned up in Madden 15. Now, while it does look stupid, it's reasonable. They don't make the player look disproportioned, they're just not shaped right, but the player himself is relatively the same shape, which is human. But for this game, they made it obvious that you were wasting your money on something that they've been remaking for 20 years. Brace your fucking tits, ladies and gentlemen, because you see them now all normal and whatnot? Well, let's just turn these all the way up like Roscoe Dash in 2010. Are you ready? Boom. I am literally at a loss for words. How can this be the only company that makes a football game and they do this to us? What retard creates a player and he's like, yeah, let's have him look like that big red thing from Looney Tunes? Like, were you guys high as fuck when you did this and thought it would be funny? Because you guys could have easily added something else instead of keeping these useless adjustments that make your game look like a fucking joke. Like, they have a slider you can change called rear size. Like, just make that a neutral size. What the fuck? Having my player look like Nicki Minaj is not something I want to do in a football game. Like, who the fuck is creating a player and is like, yeah, I think I want my player to have an ass that's size 8. That'll give him the power he needs to get off the line. There should be 3 options: small pads, medium pads, and big pads. Don't worry about the ass. And when I say big pads, I don't mean like the fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame right here. I mean a size that looks like you didn't spend more time worrying about the soundtrack than the actual game. Like, the money you paid the Migos to make an exclusive song for the game could have went into making sure my player doesn't run like a fucking troll searching for gold. And again, I know this is not something a lot of people care about. They should, considering I just showed the huge step backwards they took. Like, if you're one of the people that was complaining about not having certain players' tattoos and there's not enough shoe choices, congratulations. You got what you wanted, but in return, our players look like they're fucking Dragon Ball Z characters. But yeah, guys, that's it. I'm never buying another Madden game again until they fix this situation with the pads. You can't go from this to this and expect us to really think you're improving the game. Like, you can maybe fool the dummies with features like gang tackling and end zone celebrations, but this literally looks like an HD mod of a PS2 game. Luckily for me, I only paid $20 for this hunk of shit. The downside is, I paid $20 for this hunk of shit. Until next time, peace.
L7, baby, L7. Know the essence of our presence, got you present for a fact, baby. Reynolds rap, all the grass in the set.